Adivasis and Development. As you have already read in the history textbook, forests were absolutely crucial to the development of all the empire and settled civilization in India. जैसे कि हम हिस्ट्री की टेक्स्ट बुक में पढ़ चुके कि फॉरेस्ट जंगल एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण रोल प्ले करते हैं डेवलपमेंट में. Metal ore like the iron, copper, gold and silver, coal and diamond, invariable timber, most medical herbs, and the animal products such as wax, flax, and honey, and the animals themselves such as elephants, the mainstay of the imperial armies all came from the forest. ये सारी चीज़ें जंगल से आती है. In addition, the continuation of the life depended heavily on the forest that helped the recharge many of the Indian rivers and as becoming the clearer now, critically to the availability and the quality of our air and water. Forests cover the major part of our country till the 19th century, and the Adivasi has a deep knowledge of, access to, as well as control over most of this vast tract at least till the middle of 19th century. This means that they were not ruled by the large states and the empire. Instead, often empires heavily dependent on the Adivasi for the crucial access to the forest sources. Here are the questions. What metals are important in present day India and why? Where do they come from? आज के टाइम पर कौन सा मेटल बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है और क्यों? और वो मेटल कहाँ से आता है? आर देयर आदिवासी पॉपुलेशन देयर? क्या वहाँ पर जहाँ पर वो मेटल मिलता है वहाँ पर आदिवासी की पॉपुलेशन है? लिस्ट 5 प्रोडक्ट्स दैट यू यूज़ एट होम दैट कम फ्रॉम द फॉरेस्ट. 5 ऐसे प्रोडक्ट के नाम बता जो कि आपके घर में यूज़ होते हैं और वो जंगल से आते हैं. By whom were the following demands being met on the forest land? Timber for the construction of houses and railway, forest land for mining, forest land for agriculture by non-tribal people, reserved by the government as wildlife parks, and in what way would this affect the tribal people? This is radically contrary to our image of Adivasis today as somewhat marginal and the powerless communities. In the pre-colonial world, they were traditionally range hunter-gatherers and the nomads and lived by shifting the agriculture and also cultivating in one place. Although this remains for the past 200 years. Adivasis have been increasing force through economic changes, forest politics, and the political force applied by the state and the private industry to migrate to live as a worker in the plantation, at the construction sites, in the industries, and as the domestic workers. For the first time in history, they do not control or have much direct access to the forest territories. From the 1830s onward, Adivasis from Jharkhand and adjoining the area moved in very large number to various plantations in India and the world. Marutis, the Caribbean and even the Australia-India tea industry became possible with their labor in Assam. Today, there are 70 lakh Adivasi in Assam alone. The story of this migration is full of extreme hardship, torture, hardship, and death. For example, in the 19th century, along 5 lakh Adivasis has perished in this migration. The song below captures and hopes of the migrants and the reality they faced in Assam. Come many, let go to Assam. Our country has so much suffering. The country of Assam, oh many, has tea gardens full of greenery. The Sardar say, work, work. The Babu says, catch and bring them in. The Sahib says, I will take off the skin of your back. And the Jaduram, you described us by sending us to Assam. What do you think this poem is trying to convey? ये पोएम क्या बताना चाहती है? अपने अपने व्यूज़ मुझे कमेंट सेक्शन में कमेंट करके बताएं. Here is a photo of Niyamgiri Hill, which is located at the Kalahari district of Odisha. This area is inhabited by the Dongaria Konds and Adivasi community. Niyamgiri is scared mountain of this community. A major aluminium company is planning to set up the mine and a refining here, which will displace this Adivasi community. They have strongly resisted this proposed development and have been joined by the environmentalists as well. A case against the company is also pending in the Supreme Court. Forest land have been cleared for timber and to get the land for agriculture and industry. फॉरेस्ट जंगल की जो जगह रहती है उसको टिम्बर के लिए, यहाँ से लकड़ी लेने के लिए, और उसकी जगह एग्रीकल्चर इंडस्ट्री बनाने के लिए फॉरेस्ट को काट दिया जाता है. आदिवासी have also lived in the area that are rich in mineral and the other natural sources. These are taken over for the mining and other large industrial projects. Powerful forces have often calculated to take over the tribal land. Much of the time the land is taken away forcefully and procedures are not followed. According to the official figures, more than 50% of persons displaced due to mines and the mining project are tribals. And another recent survey report by organization working among the Adivasis show that 79% of the persons displaced from the state of Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Jharkhand are tribals. Huge tract of their land have also gone under the water of hundreds of dams that have been built in independent India. In the northeast, their land remains highly militarized. India has 104 national parks covering 40,501 square kilometers and 543 wildlife sanctuaries covering 1,18,918 square kilometers. These are the areas where tribals originally lived but were evicted from, where they continue to stay in this forest. They are termed encroachers. Adivasis are around 10,000 plant species. Approximately 8,000 species are used for the medicinal purpose. 325 are used as pesticides. 425 are used as gum, resins and dyes, and 550 are as fibers, and 3,500 are edible. This entire knowledge system get wiped up when the Adivasis lost their rights over the forest land. Losing their land and access to the forest means that tribal lost their main sources of livelihood and forest and food. Having gradually lost access to the traditional homeland, many Adivasis have migrated to the city in search of food, where they are employed for very low wages in the local industries or the building or the construction sites. They thus get caught in a cycle of poverty and deprivation. 45% of the tribal group in the rural area and 35% in the urban area live below the poverty line. This led to the deprivation in our other area. Many tribal children are malnourished. Literacy rate among the tribals are very low. When Adivasis are displaced from their land, they lose much more than a source of income. They lost their tradition and custom, a way of living and being. They took up the farming land. They left some houses. They took the cementation ground, temples, well, and ponds. How will we survive? Say the Govinda Maran, who was displaced due to a refining project in the Odisha. As you read, there exists an interconnectedness between the economic and the social dimension of the tribal life. Destruction is one of the sphere naturally impact the others. Often this process of disposition and the displacement can be painful and violent.